love the majority of 2.0 I absolutely love. But as we know, Disney listened to us. All the changes were all my ideas as we now in 2.0. So I'm getting these ideas out now so we can implement them into 3.0 right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, my general consensus of everything, like as an overall package, I feel like Disney Infinity has become too confusing. You touched on it last week about how the general media, when they reviewed it, treating it as a normal game. If
Yeah.
you come at it from that angle, you come out with a much more disappointing picture than with if you are someone that has lived and breathed the entire package.
Right.
Like it seemed like all the reviews I saw, the toy box was this afterthought. It's like, yeah, the play sets are kind of not that great, but they've certainly made lots of improvements in the toy box, but that's where it ended. There was no further discussion on that. It's just
Hmm.
like, yes, the toy box is improved from last year, but it was like a throwaway line.
Right.
Whereas we sort of come from the angle that's like that's the that's the key. I've been a big one for promoting let's get rid of the play sets and like stick with the toy box, but I kind of changed my mind on that after playing these play sets.
Yeah.
Because I was so disappointed in the Avengers, just thought I don't know. Well, you say something and then I'll process this thought a bit more.
So so far, I let me tell people actually we should have actually said this first. So Jason, so far the Avengers is the only one you beat so far, right?
And when I've completed, I've
Okay.
started the other two, but have not completed them.
Okay, and so for me, I've completed Spider-Man and I just started Guardians. So that's where we're coming from with this conversation. And Jason, I hate to say it, I agree with you completely. I understand why they went with the Avengers, but I feel like it was not nearly as strong as even Monsters University and 1.0, and that was kind of universally the one of the weaker play sets. At least in the starter set, it was seemed to be a lot of people's least favorite, and I think that's a pretty big statement for being the Avengers, arguably Marvel's most I don't know, well-known and popular casual franchise. You know, it's with the movies. I just feel like it was such a missed opportunity, and it was a great way to bring all of those familiar characters in, and it was a great selling point. But as far as gameplay wise, I mean, I have some very specific thoughts on it, but like you, I feel like it was so far it was absolutely the weakest of the three playsets I've played. And granted, I haven't completed Guardians yet.
Let's
Still,
be honest, it's the weakest of all of Disney Infinity,
well,
including the first six play sets in 1.0.
yeah, yeah, I would actually agree with you personally on that fact. Um, I enjoyed playing it, so it's
Yes,
this
it was
weird
fun.
thing.
It was fun, but it's not like again, like you got to come from the angle. When I put this game in, after about, I don't know, call it a couple of hours playing, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, where do you go? What do you
Mm,
start? You've got the toy box games, you've got the interiors, you've got the toy box, you've got play sets, and it's like, and then like if you include all the activities of like unlocking toys and stuff, there's so much to do. It's such a large package that isn't really you're not they don't hold your hand through the
yeah.
process. It's just like, oh, here it all is. Like, and it's like it's like, where do you start as a fan? Like, normally in games, a game's got to start, and you just progress from there. But this is just like, here's everything to do, and it's like, well, where am I supposed to start my enjoyment? You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree and I disagree with that. I think it's hard not for it to be overwhelming, but I mean, my starter packet came with a little fold out kind of like this is what it is explanation document. For me, when I started up the game, it asked me right away, do I have a playset piece? If so, put that down to. But at the same point, it didn't explain why. It didn't say if you don't put this down, you're going to the toy box, which is this for your information.
Yeah.
And I do think that a lot of the other hand-holding experiences are much improved, but I agree and I disagree that it's overwhelming. But there's also so many pieces. I mean, you unwrap this thing, you have four or three figures, two of these random disc, and you have this base, and what do you do with it all? But it's also kind of, I don't know. It's a statement, though, if you and I were overwhelmed, and we are not only experienced
That's
with
what
Infinity, but
that's exactly what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
like if I feel if I'm overwhelmed, if you've never heard of the toy box, you'd be like, "What is that for?" And it's not to say that they're not explaining well. I'm just saying in general, it's just
yeah,
such a big package with such it has a lot of value in it. It's just it seems like most of the people that were reviewing the game,
yeah,
it's like the play sets are the the premium content and everything else is just side
yeah,
smaller stuff, which I don't think that's the case at all.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that. And so then you're like, you got to ask yourself where, okay, well, the play sets are big selling points for the game. I mean, I would be willing to bet a significant portion of people who get this game are buying it because of their understanding of the playset alone. But
Yes, the
if it,
toy box hasn't proven itself yet.
right, but then if you, in a future iteration, if it's just the toy box, it cuts out all of that confusion because you pop the figures in and you have this open sandbox game. But then on the flip side of that, you don't have the marketing of these single player experiences.